Hey, what's up YouTube, welcome back. My name is LFX and today I'm going to be doing something a bit different on my channel, and I've already recorded this video 2 times over, but I decided to re-record it again because I keep saying and keep not knowing what to say. So now I've actually written down a partial script. It's kind of like I'm just putting down what I should talk about. So you got Ground War, Try Hard, Battlefield, JPC, stuff like that. So I'm going to be recording it again and let's see where it gets me. So, we're going to jump straight into this. Even though I'm a Battlefield channel, I am going to be reviewing the brand new beta that just finished on Modern Warfare 2019. So, let's go. The first thing I'm going to be talking about is obviously, because I'm a Battlefield fan, is Ground War. Ground War is basically a redone version of Modern Warfare 3's Ground War, which was bigger versions of Team Deathmatch, Demolition, and all those, etc., etc. And they made it kind of like Battlefield. In a bad way. Sorry to any Call of Duty fans out there, but this is not what Battlefield is at all. So if you jump into this game thinking, oh yeah, it's going to be like Call of Duty plus Battlefield, I've never played Battlefield, this must be what Battlefield's like. No, it's not at all. First of all, the vehicles in this game, even though there's only 3, there's the helicopters, there's the APCs, which are armor penetrating something, and then you have the quad bikes, are all terrible. First of all, the APC is horrible to drive, it's horrible to shoot, and it feels clunky as hell. Obviously this is a beta, but most of the time things like that won't change that much. Vehicle mechanics will probably not change that much from this to the actual game. So I'm very worried about the vehicle mechanics in the game, because if you've ever played a Battlefield game extensively like I have, gotten used to all of the vehicles, especially the APCs and the tanks, you will want to go back and play them extremely bad. When you use the APC in this game, it's absolutely horrible, especially the shooting it, and there's no counter to it, at least in the beta right now, apart from when you reach a specific level. So that means any newcomers who come into the game can't shoot tanks with rocket launchers, because you only have anti-airs for skill streaks and obviously the helos. So let's talk about the next thing, which obviously is the try-harding to the Battlefield. You got the maps that are kind of big. I mean, the Conquest small equivalent maps, which are quite small, and you got vehicles on it as well. You got the objectives, which is, you know, obviously the flags that you can cap in each thing, which I like where the flags are actually capped. But the one thing that I noticed with the flags are how quick they cap. They cap extremely big. Oh, yeah, another thing I noticed is that the radius is also very small. So they cap really quick and in a really small radius. Considering there are 32 people on one team, if you get even 5 people on one objective, it will take around 10 seconds to cap it. Comparing that to Battlefield, it taking about 30 seconds to cap it. It's going to give people a lot of time on the enemy team to come and try and actually stop you from capping the flag. Because I guarantee you, if you're an enemy on one side of the map and they start capping it on another side of the map, on Battlefield, if you got in a car, you could probably get to them by the time they've capped it and try and see if the enemies are still there, so you can kill them and take the flag back. But on this game, you kind of can't do that, because you cap the flags too quick, and also there's not enough vehicles spawning in, especially since the map is so fucking small. Obviously we've only got one map, but that's how it is. Well, on to the positives of the game, because I do want to gloss over the whole Battlefield argument that's going on. I will just say that it's the worst game mode in COD so far, at least in the beta. I think they should just stick to what they do best, which is close quarters infantry type combat, like all the other game modes that are on the game apart from that, like SND, demolitions, you know, team deathmatch and stuff like that, sabotage, you know, things like that. You should just stay with that. Obviously people are trying to switch it up, Call of Duty is trying to switch it up, and that's what I'm leading into, which is the gunplay in this game. It feels fresh, new, and not like you're a one-man army with no recoil on any of the guns anymore. Guns, recoil-wise, seem very realistic and also very rewarding when you get a kill, because if you're shooting someone quite far away and you keep that to like tap them down, like burst fire and stuff, you don't just fully automatic all the way across the map with a suppressor on, it does feel really satisfying to get the kills. And especially when you get a feed, you feel like you actually earned it instead of people just running into your crosshair, because the gun is so clunky and like it feels like it's gonna hard hit. Reloading as well, there's a gimmicky cool little thing which you can do, which is reload while aiming down sights. I've never seen any game do that before that I'm aware of. If there is any, just mention that. But it is the first FPS I've seen where you can aim down sights and reload, which is very nice, and it's a very cool little thing that they added. Like obviously ghosts added leaning, which is another gimmicky thing, so I want to see how far this gets, because you can actually use it to your advantage in this game, so you don't have to aim down sights again after you've reloaded. The sway as well is another funny little thing I should mention. When you're walking with your gun, you now feel like it has weight to it as you're kind of swaying it about, unlike in previous Modern Warfare games where you'd hold it like it's like a paperweight. You just walk around it and you'd be in the same angle. There would be like no sway or anything, and that's what another reason I like Battlefield so much, because the guns just felt better, they sounded better, and they just felt better in your hands. They felt more clunky. And that's going to move me on to the next thing, which is the sounds. The sounds in this game are a lot better than any COD game ever. Yeah, I'm saying that with high notice, because the game does very, very well in terms of sound. I've played a lot of FPS games, including sim shooters, Battlefield, you know, you name it. I've been uptown, been downtown, been there, done that, got the fucking promotion, alright? And this game sounds very good in terms of sounds. Not just in gun sounds, they feel heavy, they feel like they're hard hitting, they feel like you're actually hurting someone with the gun sounds. But also, the map sounds, the atmosphere, like the kill streaks, the Warthog. Oh my god, I thought it sounded good in Black Ops 2. Oh, it sounds good in this game. The grenades, they sound very nice, especially when you throw a grenade off like a metal wall or something like that. It'll go like thunk, and if you throw it off a concrete wall, it'll make a different sound, which I really like. And obviously it feels heavy, and when you're throwing it, you kind of feel like you're hefty throwing it, which is very, very nice. Also, the jumping and running sounds very realistic. You actually feel like you're running across ground now, and not just running across a generic template like in other COD games. Also, another thing to mention, yes, boots on the ground. There's nothing to do with sounds, but you know, it's Modern Warfare. It's boots on the ground. Let's go. This is one that isn't for console players, because obviously you don't really need to worry about this, but optimization is very nice for the PC. I have a decent processor. I have a Ryzen 5 1600, I have a GTX 1066 gig, and my game seems to run decently well at medium-high settings at 60 FPS most of the time. I do have frame drops sometimes. When I spawn in on Ground War, there was a lot of lag there. Obviously that's nothing to do with the game, that is to do with my computer having to render in the whole map and then every single player, and then there was explosions going off, and then there was a tank spawning in the distance. Obviously that is my fault, because I don't have the best processor out there. But even my friend managed to run it on his AMD A8 and his GTX 1060. So you can probably tell that it's highly GPU limited, since he didn't manage to get 60 FPS most of the time, but it was runnable. I remember I went to his house and actually saw how runnable it was, and you could play the game and it looked decent even at very low settings. With all the settings turned down, it looked playable and pretty decent. So I'd like to hand it to them again for optimization. Kind of like Doom, even though you run it at low settings, you can still get really nice frame rates on it and be able to play the game decently. So now let's talk about maps. From the beta, I think there's like 3 or 4 maps. Either that or it's just getting the same map every single fucking time. They're pretty nice. I wouldn't say they're as iconic as other maps from first playing them, but obviously that is because nostalgia has a massive hand to play in older maps. Also, these could be really good maps. They play pretty well. They have some pretty decent holding angles wise and things like that. The one map I didn't like, which is the one where you can go in a cave. I cannot remember what it's called. It's called something cave, I think. That map can suck my pain, because there are so many camping spots on that game, and I have been camped out so hard on that map compared to other maps, because you can just get away with sitting at an angle and holding it, especially with that stupid ballistic shield you can put up. It's like from Rainbow Six Siege. Why would you have that in a COD game? It's a fast-paced game. Why would you have something off of one of the slowest paced FPS games out there? Rainbow Six Siege. You are now just encouraging people to put a fucking shield up and camp there. It's like having a riot shield, but you can shoot at the same time and you can camp. It's really, really bad. They should either make so you can destroy it or just get rid of it. It just sucks ass. There is no reason to use that apart from camping. It's like having a thermal scope on COD Ghost and just laying in a bush and just waiting there. It's going to be the new meta for campers. I absolutely see that. 100%. So let's just move on from that, because I really don't want to talk about it anymore. And it's the guns in the game. The guns in the game are modern, once again. But this time, they're very modern. I'm talking proper updated models from all the guns. You're looking at Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. They're realistic looking, but now they actually look up to date, and you have a lot of nice guns. You also have a lever action, I believe, and then you have some really weird looking snipers, maybe too modernized, but still they're very nice to look at. And I can't remember what one of the assault rifles are called, but it's the one you unlock after the M4A1, the first assault rifle you unlock in the beta. That's pretty nice looking. I did look down further, but obviously there are a lot of them you can't unlock in the beta, so I was like, oh, fuck it. May as well just like not look at these, because I won't be able to play with them anyway until the full game comes out. So I just did that. But all in all, there is a lot of guns in this game, especially variation-wise, so it is nice to see. Crossplay now. Crossplay. Finally, they're bringing crossplay to a AAA title. Fortnite is the only game that I really know of that has proper crossplay. I don't fucking play Fortnite, and I never want to play it again, so I'm glad that they're bringing it to a game that is actually good. Now, I think the rule with the PC players is that they all play against each other, and then anyone on Xbox who has a PC and mouse combo, because obviously otherwise the PC players would just fuck up the Xbox and PlayStation players. I mean, imagine a keyboard and mouse player that's pretty good going up an Xbox player and a PlayStation player that are pretty good. In comparison, the PC player is going to play outstanding compared to the players, unfortunately, just because they are using a controller. Obviously, the stiff aim will help them when the player is just stood still, not moving quite close. But in the distance, if they keep moving around, or especially when it comes to sniping, you're going to get dicked on by PC players. I'm sorry to say it. Not PC Master Race or anything, it's just common logic. Using a mouse is a lot more accurate, and obviously you can move around a lot quicker. Because obviously the sense, you can just fucking and flick up and down. So yeah, so the last thing I'm going to be talking about here is pretty weird to end a video on, but it is the menus in the game. They're pretty nice to look at, and you also have the character aimlessly wandering through the desert and the desolation. It's kind of in Modern Warfare Remastered when they were just sitting there behind a wall kind of peeking over. It's similar to that, and I do really like it. So yeah, it's a bit of a random thing to end the video, but I hope you have enjoyed. Bit of a weird thing to put on my channel, but I did enjoy the beta, and I will be looking forward to the full game coming out. Don't know if I'm gonna get it when it fully releases, but I might get it later on in the year when discounts go down, or when the first DLC comes out and they have a little bundle. Other than that, guys, it has been LFX, and I will see you in the next video, guys. Peace.
Yeah, watching cartoons up in my room.
Watching cartoons up in my room.
Yeah, watching cartoons up in my room.
Watching cartoons up in my room.
Yeah, started from the bottom on that bullshit when I told the world 100